Progress comes to a world of magic as science and the arcane combine to make marvels. Meet steampunk inventors and orc mystics at the Volsung Hub on beastsofwar.com. Anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastsofwar.com.
Good morning, it's Weekender time. Welcome to the show. I'm joined by Ben on the screen and Justin in the chair. This weekend, you'll have seen the title. It's like when Kickstarters go to war. This is probably the biggest weekend in Kickstarter land that I can remember. But we're going to have more about that in the show. First things first, we're going to do a little recap of some of the stuff that's been happening this week. Justin.
Yes.
You went to war this week in bolt action.
Yeah, myself and John got ourselves a rather nice beach assault on the go, which we had a lot of fun with. I will say that.
Oh, very nice.
So,
can you bring up a close-up of the table? Let's zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, I can zoom in a little bit here.
Yeah, so now I've got to say, I really liked how the table came together in this. And I watched the game, and it did look like a tremendous amount of fun, I've got to say.
Myself and John, with our buddy James doing the Operation Sea Lion, we kind of wanted to get in on the act a little bit. So
yeah.
John came up with the idea of going...
So you muscled in on Oriskany then, yeah?
A little bit.
Yeah.
He seemed to enjoy it. He did comment saying he enjoyed it.
Good.
But we decided...
If you're wondering what that's about, because I don't want it to be an in-joke, we have an amazing article series going on at the moment, which is a historical what-if.
Yes, Operation Sea Lion.
But in incredible detail. Do you want to bring Ben up so he can see?
Yeah.
So we have a historical what-if, which is the Operation Sea Lion. So Operation Sea Lion was the plan that the Germans had for the invasion of Britain.
Yes.
Yeah. And Oriskany has been working through that. You know, we've part 3 out now. We've 3 parts out to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So 3 parts are out, and he looks at it in tremendous detail, and looks at what might have happened, and he's done playthroughs and stuff like that using the battle group rules. It is absolutely fascinating.
Yes.
But it did inspire you guys to say, but you know what, we want to have a little bit of that ourselves. So
yeah, so we wanted to do a beach assault.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be the attacker. But I play Germans.
Yes.
So we decided to say, right, let's say the invasion didn't happen when Oriskany said it happened.
You
let's
said
do
it late war. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to get the big cats on the beach.
Yeah.
You know, having a panther driving up out of the waves.
That would be kind of cool, I've got to say.
Yeah, although the way we played the game was actually that we had 3 key locations on the board, right?
Yeah.
So if I can... Technology, work, thank you. Actually, work better, technology.
Okay.
All right, so you see the 3 bunkers across the table here. Each of those was a key strategic location that we were trying to take and control by the end of the game. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So for the bunkers, what we actually did was we said if you can get an infantry unit into base contact with it, you can throw a satchel charge into it, you know, Saving Private Ryan style, make it cinematic and stuff.
Yeah.
And then whoever was inside had to test to see what happened to them. Did they actually bung it back out, or did they actually get blown up, or did they just go, wait, that's a satchel charge, let's get the hell out of here?
Yeah. Awesome.
So we had a lot of fun with that. We did, however, get a few rules wrong. And I want to thank everybody for actually pointing out the rules that we did get wrong.
In fact, we are actually going to thank everybody, because we're going to take a moment to read out some names of folks who have been who chimed in on the comments with little rules tips and stuff for us. You don't know how much we appreciate that, because I got any of the games that I've played, you know, with Dave Shoulder would get things wrong, and people would chime in with, you know, watch for this, watch for that, and it's amazing. We absolutely love that feedback. So, some special thanks to Emily Lunella, Vides. If I butcher your name, it's what I do. Apologies. Edgar A, Calidor 2. Who were talking about sniper rules.
Yeah. Actually getting the distance correct.
Osterwolf was talking about some leadership stuff and about rolling for rally and stuff like that. Hedge Mungari was talking about taking a vehicle from the rear.
Yes, and from the side as well. It does make a difference.
It does make a difference.
It does make a difference.
Okay, and then finally we have Grana Priego, who was talking about the bunker rules. Now, did you kind of made up your own bunker rules, did you?
We did, because we wanted it to be very fast and furious, you know. So we wanted it just to feel like, charge up, throw the satchel charge in, yeah, hey, they're out, let's go.
Yeah.
You know.
He had a tip on his own. He says, when we came to the bunkers... all right, yeah. He was saying there are actual bunker rules.
Yes, that was me putting the notes in there so you know what
all right, so you deliberately broke the bunker rules just so...
We did.
Okay.
Although those bunker rules are actually from a supplement, if I remember his comment correctly.
Yes.
You know, so there's nothing really... That's the thing with games. You can sort of change up the rules a little bit if you want to, and if it is a fun game. You know, and that was really, really fun. Yeah. I will not lie.
There's another part of this. You decided to do a rematch, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it fun?
Oh, it's very fun. So in the next one, you're going to see me standing on the beachfront as the British, John coming up out of the waves. One of my favourite things that we did...
Is it a nudist beach?
No. However, it's a minefield beach.
Oh, it is a minefield beach.
One of the segments here had a.
What you mean, as in a minefield, like learning the rules as a minefield?
No. No, I mean, as in we actually put a minefield in there, and a few people were also chiming in with their ideas on how the minefield could work. Because the way we had it happening was the mines weren't incredibly powerful. They would disable a vehicle. If it went off under your infantry, you would lose one guy, but you would always take like D3 pins and things like that. Mm-hmm. You know, because holy crap, this thing just blew up beside me. Yeah. You know, so that was a lot of fun.
Are they your own rules for the minefield again?
Yes, they are.
So maybe it's worth us checking to see if there's some additional minefield rules somewhere.
It is
in the books, and if there is, we'll try and make sure we annotate it in there or something. But so I've got to say, I really enjoyed watching it. It was long. It was a mammoth fight. It was a mammoth 2.5 hour fight. But you know, if it's your thing, and you know, from time to time, I can't say I watch battle reports all the time. Battle reports are generally not my go-to thing. I like some of the other stuff that's out there. But if you fancy a big long one, come to beastofwar.com and check out the bolt action beach assault because it is really good fun. It is really good fun. I've got to say, at the end of the day, that really is all that matters.
Exactly.
Okay, it's nice when we get all the rules right, and we do try. Okay, but it's not uncommon for us to switch out rules, to change rules, just to make a scenario that little bit more arcadey. Just to see what happens. You know, in Beasts of War, we are the first to put our hands up and say, we like hacking the game. You know, we do like hacking games. So sometimes you might look at it and think, what are you doing that? It may just be us hacking the game, but we do try to get the rules right. And we will be very grateful for anybody who points out anything that we've got wrong and just help us out whenever something does go a bit awry.
Yeah. Also, I do want to give a quick shout out to the guys at Deep Cut Studios who actually made the mat that we played on.
Mat was beautiful.
Because it was one of those really nice ones that came in. Beach assault mat, perfect. I don't have to worry about making water effects. I don't have to worry. Well, we did throw a little extra sand onto this one just to blend everything. Yes. But having that nice base to work from was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Okay, Ben, this weekend is Black Friday weekend. This is going to be a costly weekender, folks, I've got to say, all right? So, Ben, can you take us for a bit of a whirlwind tour of what deals were? And it used to be Black Friday everything was on the Friday, but so many of these now are stretching out over the course of the entire weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the stuff happened obviously on Friday on the 25th, but a whole bunch of deals are running through until the 27th. Some of them running all the way through towards the end of December as well when it comes to the whole Christmas period. So everybody's looking at it from the sense of, well, we'll just have like, a couple of weeks of craziness instead. But yeah, there are a few big deals and stuff that we've been picking out throughout the last couple of days and things. So there was obviously some great stuff there from Battle Foam. They were doing some good stuff to do with their bags and things like that.
Football bag, Ben. We reported on that a bit earlier. So they have a bag out now dedicated to Blood Bowl.
Yep,
exactly.
We were drilling over it a little bit. So if any of you guys have been getting your Blood Bowl sets coming through the post this last day or two, which a lot of us have, definitely go and check that out because it was 15% off on a bag perfectly created for it. I was also looking at it, and like a couple of commenters thought that would be pretty sweet for Guild Ball as well. So
it would be,
yeah. What else do we have going on?
So Mythic Games did something on Friday where they were releasing stuff every hour throughout the day. So if you were lucky enough to get on board with that kind of stuff, it'd be interesting to tell us, what you picked up and stuff for Mythic Games for Kings of War and Dead Zone and all those kind of things like that. We've got Deep Cut doing some great stuff there as well. Warlord Games. Avatars of War are running a slightly longer one, which lasts until the 28th, I think it is.
Yeah.
So the whole idea behind this one is that it's not, as well as them selling off a lot of their stuff, they're also going to be bringing in their new ogre army as well. So if you're interested in the Ninth Age and fantasy, you can get some cool ogres and things like that.
Just look at that mini there. He is absolutely beautiful.
He is very cool.
So if you haven't already been to Avatars of War, that might well be worth one to check out.
Yeah, and they do some beautiful stuff on their other ranges as well. The dwarves are fantastic.
Yeah, Steamforged Games, obviously they do a Black Friday sale, but also at the same time I think there's also SteamCon going on. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, that sale's going to be going on throughout the weekend and stuff like that. So you can go in and get involved, buy a new team. There's whole bunches of sort of limited edition resin characters and things as well. So I think there's a couple of mats and some badges as well. So accessories and all sorts of different things from Steamforged. We've also got some sort of more board gamey style things going on as well. So there's lots of stuff going into the holiday sales for Fantasy Flight Games and Miniature Market as well.
Yeah.
We just basically collected together a whole bunch of stuff from the community in the comments. So if there's anything in there that you really want to sort of get stuck into and have a look at, you can sort of filter through there and what we've put up in the main post as well. I mean, one of the big ones that we were looking at is the stuff from Privateer Press, where they were selling some huge army deals and stuff like that. So some of those things might still be going on. If you want to go and check that kind of stuff out.
So we have Foreground on there because Foreground's Mall and stuff kind of went on pre-order or something this weekend as well.
Yeah. So the Foreground Mall is now up for pre-order. That's their whole stuff to do with Black Friday is running through until the 29th of November.
Yeah.
And so the actual discount code is in there on the post. So if you want to go and check that out, you can go and grab it and stick it in the web store and stuff as well.
Cool.
But yeah, some really cool stuff.
On Anarchy Models, that's a great one for anybody that's into their airbrushing. I couldn't recommend Brian's stuff enough. Night Models, we're giving away some free models with some of the larger orders. White Tree Games, they're new to me, weird or not. So anyway, if you're interested, we have a big Black Friday post on the homepage. Come and check it out. Right, we're going to take a quick second to tell you about some hubs, because I want to bring the digital concierge, community manager Lance, or community nurse as we like to call him. I want to bring him in. We're going to bring him in a couple of times this week, but I want to bring him in to update us all on the Hobby Lab Freshwater Challenge. So this is all about getting you building some terrain. So give us a sec, and we'll bring Lance in.
Become a general of mighty armies at the Kings of War Hub. Take command of elves, dwarves, and orcs in this game of masked fantasy combat on beastsofwar.com. Humanity has been driven from Earth, but now it's time to take it back. Join the Reconquest and fight the Scourge on the Drop Zone Commander Hub at beastsofwar.com.
Welcome back. We'd like to welcome the digital concierge. It is Lance, the man tasked with making sure that each and every one of you are happy beyond your wildest dreams.
But not too happy.
So anytime you need anything, and I mean anything, all you have to do is call Lance. Landcore's on the website. Any problem you have, anything at all, Lance is there to help you and to make your life wonderful. Isn't that right, Lance?
Do we have a 1-800 number for him?
Thanks for making that completely clear.
Yep. Mobile number was just there on the bottom of the screen. I didn't put it there. Okay, Lance. Yeah. We have the Hobby Lab Freshwater Challenge.
Yes.
Okay, so for anybody that hasn't seen it, very quickly, we do these terrain challenges about once a quarter. Okay, this is this one. So what we do is
it was the 30th of November, but we've extended the date now.
Yes, that's the big point we've got to get across. So we do these terrain challenges because we want you guys to be building terrain. So in partnership with the guys at Foreground, with the Terrain Tutor and with Terrainaholic, so Mel and Bill, we get together once a quarter, we throw you guys out a terrain challenge and get you stuck in there building. We have a smattering of prizes sponsored by our good buddies over at Foreground, and much fun is had. We have extended the deadline, just to make it fit in with the quarter. That and the fact that we have a ton of stuff on, and for judging perspective and stuff like that, we just wanted to give you some extra time. And it was well received. you always wonder whenever you extend a deadline, because some people work very hard to it, but everybody was very okay with it, because it is just for fun. The purpose of it is not so much about the prizes; it is about encouraging you to build some terrain that you can then use in your games.
Yeah.
So we had one community member who was going, "Yes, I've had my arm in a sling for the last 6 weeks. I wasn't able to participate, but now I can." And that's so get stuck in there. What are the categories? Just to recap for everybody.
4 categories are best idea.
Okay. So that's to do with how good the idea is you come up with for a piece of terrain, not necessarily how good it is, how well executed it is. So if terrain making is something new to you or whatever, don't worry. Get stuck in, and you might win something because your idea is just really, really good. If I remember in the last one, it was a guy cutting water pistols up, and he made the most amazing sci-fi terrain with it, and it was very, very easy. It didn't matter about his execution of it, which was pretty good. His idea was just wonderful.
Yeah.
So you've got the best idea.
We
have
executed.
The best executed. So if you are really into making your terrain, for you guys, we have a best executed category.
Best project log on the forums.
This is about showing people what you've done, taking them through step by step, so as we can all learn together. Remember, to enter the terrain challenge, all you have to do is go and open a new forum post in the hobby and painting forum. And again, I'm not joking. If you have problems, we have a chat bar, we have private messaging, and Lancor's LANCORZ on the website. You'll have a link to your profile or something in the show notes. Find a way to get in touch, and Lance will help you. If you need talk through, Lance will, do you know what? We'll even create a little video just to show how it's done. And we'll put a little video on. All right, Lance. Yeah. Let's just keep piling the work on him, guys. Let's just keep piling it on.
Right, so Lance, next week you're building the Great Wall of China, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. You're in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then our final category, now come on, this is for you guys. This is the young beasts category.
The younglings.
So if you're a mom or a dad or a big brother out there, whatever it is, if you have access to a little one, make sure that you give them an opportunity to build some terrain with you and get them to post a forum topic of their little project log as they go along, because we have a special category for those aged 16 and under. And we'd like to see the youngsters, the younglings, get involved in making terrain, because terrain making is just so much fun. We want to make sure that we all get a chance. And then finally, we will be picking one overall winner from it all, who will become the master builder for that month, the ultimate terrain maker champion for that quarter. Apologies. And then they're going to enter into a bit of a head-to-head in the annual awards next March. Right. I think you have a few examples of what's going on so far.
I do. A lot of people have been getting involved, and mostly due to the first expiration date, which was 30th of November, but now as we've extended it, we've got a lot of new topics coming in.
Okay.
But first of all, we have water tanks by Fullhammer 888. This is created I'm not sure what the tops of those are, but these... Justin turned around to me earlier and said, it's got nothing to do with water. There's no water on it.
But let me scroll further down.
But they're water tanks, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the freshwater challenge.
Yeah, there'd be fresh water in them.
That's what caught me out. But I wouldn't have thought of that.
I've got to make this clear, because this is why we do this, right? We are deliberately vague on these categorizations because we want it to. We don't want you to feel like you're excluded. Okay, so we're coming up with categories that you can do for any genre, any scale. Okay. It's just loosely tied to this particular thing, fresh water. Yeah, if it holds fresh water, if it interacts with fresh water. Yeah. So
but you see, this is me. I hear the freshwater challenge, and I'm sat there going, "Oh, so there has to be water in this."
Yeah, it's in the tank. Yeah, it's in the tank. Yeah, we don't have to see the fresh water. Yeah. It's just you could do a fire engine. You could do a fire engine, and you could enter it and say, "I've done my fire engine," and because it squirts fresh water.
Well, here's how they ended up. Really nice.
I love this.
Sweet.
I love this,
be
but
lovely
I keep
for Team
thinking
Yankee.
it's the health and safety officer in me where I think,
that
why
ladder.
is there no safety rail?
They have turned out really nice.
Yeah, they really have.
You know, for Team Yankee, they would be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I really love what he's done with the pipe work then down the side. You can see where he went with that and the little reinforcement struts. How did he do the ladder? Is the ladder in there as well on how he actually made the ladder?
Cut from like a mesh.
Oh, yes.
So he cut through I assume it is a mesh.
Yeah, so it's a knitting mesh.
Yeah.
And he trimmed it off with his craft knife. It makes really, really good ladders. Yeah. So there you can see, this is a perfect example of why we do it as it is, do it in this way. Because it is related to freshwater.
Yep.
And he's done it in his own scale for 15mm games.
Yep.
So this is why it's deliberately not vague. I like to call it inclusive. Right. What else have we got?
Second up, we have now water everywhere, but not a drop to rank. This was one of the very first topics that came up, and it is phenomenal.
Oh my
so far,
word!
I've been looking at this over the past month, and every day I come back and there's something new, and I'm continuously surprised by it. How Soap Dodger got the Ultimate Terrain Maker finalist from the Scatter Train, so high hopes were for this from me, and he's definitely brought it to the table.
If he wins this, he's going to end up competing with himself. How's that going to happen?
We thought, why don't we not bring him over here and he can do the
Has he done the step-by-step and the tutorials and stuff like that as well?
Yeah. Here. So this is what he's going for.
Oh, he's even got the reference photos.
Even got reference.
Yeah.
And then as he goes through step by step, really clear.
Okay, Soap Dodger, we've got to find out where you live. Because we might just bring you here and keep you like our pet.
You just bring him in and build that.
If you are in the UK, get in touch and let us know because maybe you want to come and live here with us.
We'll give you some soap if you need to.
Right. What else have we got?
We have the Bailey Bridge by Collins. This is the old bridges that we got tanks to drive across.
Oh.
He's bought the actual bridge construction. From I don't know, he did say.
Yeah.
But just the overall presentation of it and how he's created the water is just spectacular. You see him here, he's building the bridge, so anyone who's probably bought the bridge.
There's our buddy, the Model Mate sprays, yeah.
Yeah. It weathered it down, and it's what next is.
Right, is
where
this where it really starts
in.
to come in, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's using Lloyd's sponge
techniques from Lloyd. So Lloyd will be glad to hear that. He's creating the riverbed and now the water.
That's interesting.
Oh, I like this. Oh my word, look at it.
It's beautiful. He's even got he's even got a dead cow just sitting neatly beside
Oh my word.
That works really well.
Isn't that beautiful?
Now this would be a great choke point for bolt action, or what's the game that's being played on there at the minute? Flames of War?
No, it's bolt action.
Is it bolt action?
Yeah.
So, Bailey Bridge, it seems spectacular to have on the tabletop as long as with fresh water. You can get a dead cow in there as well.
Yeah.
You see, I look at this and I instantly think that's more diorama piece. That's going to work really well for a diorama if you're wanting to do it for competition painting and stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, but it'd equally work as a great piece of terrain.
Oh, yeah.
He's maybe making a modular board
Possibly.
of this, where the modules all
he's
kind
got
of fit
trees
together.
behind, so the modulars set in.
Yeah.
So he's probably making a bigger project. If you are making a bigger project, please post it.
Yeah, we want to know. And then finally, we have a Catchment Pond by Alpha Apocalypse. Now, what is a Catchment Pond?
It's a little pond, but what I love about this project, and we'll see at the very end of it, is he took it outside. But to start off, he created the pond by breaking up old sprues and melting them down and creating this pond. So
wait, he melted down old sprues?
Yes.
Okay, now that's interesting.
So if you keep scrolling, you can see what he's done. I love the color of this as well, because I keep seeing. Whenever people think of blue or water, they always think of blue.
Yeah.
But if you're over here in Ireland,
so he melted the sprues, weighted them down. Right, created a... Wow. What is this we're looking at? Yeah, keep going.
Hold on, wait for it. This is it. Taking shape now.
Uh-huh.
Finally, all the dirt. Excess stones. Got the grass in. Little reeds. Beautiful.
And he's poured a
wait for it.
top, right?
Wait for it. Where do you see where he takes it out?
Oh.
Takes it outside onto the table. It's not that impressive looking at on the table, so let's put it in the grass.
Oh my goodness.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic.
I love the presentation. If you can take it outside or take it to somewhere, take it to the riverbed.
I have never, ever seen anybody chop up sprues and stick them in a panini maker. I have no idea. I have no idea why he did it. I'm going to have to go and have a look at that. Because I suspect what he actually did. Why did he do that? Scroll down there, Justin, so we have to see. So
that's it melting.
Yeah, he melted it on greaseproof paper.
Yeah, he's then flattened it.
Flattened it between the weights.
Gets that.
Got that. Then what's this bit here? What's he doing this?
This looks as if it's somewhere that you can specifically put heat through.
So you stick the vacuum hose through the bottom, right? On a wooden frame. Why did he do that? What was it?
I think that was letting him specifically heat and mold certain parts of it the way he wanted.
Hang on. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a reverse vacuum former. He's created his own vacuum former. This is absolutely nuts.
Well played.
Yeah.
Gotta give him that. Well played.
Oh my word. Right. This is why you need to be involved in the Hobby Lab terrain challenges. Believe me. This is a life-changing opportunity. Terrain makes us happy. It's been proven. We're going to go to the NHS with our scientifically verified data to say that we can change the world. We can make it a far happier place by getting everybody involved in the terrain making challenge. And if you can't make a bit of terrain for any particular quarter, come across, get involved in the comments and support the guys and girls who can.
Who do.
Yeah.
Because
and
it's
curious.
It's
a lot
fabulous.
of them do feedback whenever people ask
they
questions.
They all feedback. Yeah, get stuck in, ask them questions.
And you can give them ideas and help as well.
That is genius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he's actually made his own vacuum form. I'm curious
to see like how many people cut up water pistols last month.
Yeah. Right. Okay. We're going to say a temporary cheerio to Lance because we're going to talk now about how Kickstarters have just went to war. Lance, we will see you back shortly because we're going to talk about Hobbyween.
Fight for the Iron Kingdoms as a warcaster. Take control of the mighty jacks, arcane devices, and dark sorceries to bring the fight to the War Machine Hub on beastsofwar.com. It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com.
And welcome back, guys. Right. Kickstarters have gone to war. War has broken out on Kickstarter. There are 3 amazing, mad Kickstarters on at the moment that are all competing for your cash. You might say, if I was going to throw a song, when 3 Kickstarters go to war, only one is you can score. Do you know that reference?
No.
No, of course he doesn't know that reference. Right.
What year did this song come out in, just for curiosity?
87?
Right, I was 1 year old.
Oh, well, still, there's no accounting for good taste, is there? Right. The 3 Kickstarters, we have 4 to tell you about. So we have the 3 big ones, and then we have, and if you fancy something a little bit different, okay? Now, before we get to the 3 Kickstarters, okay? Obviously, when 3 massive Kickstarters all land in the same space, for many of us, it creates a dilemma, okay? Because you're thinking, oh, which one am I going to back?
Yeah.
Okay? But I want to let you into a little tip just before we talk about the 3 Kickstarters.
Okay.
Red Ben on the site has been giving us a tip. Now, it involves you asking the question of the Kickstarter creators. But there is a sneaky plan for those people that want to get in on multiples of the Kickstarters, but don't have the cash just now to go all in or to go to whatever level that they want to on it. So, it's basically called back low, then go high. right? And it depends on whether the Kickstarter is going to have a pledge manager later on, and whether they will allow you to up your pledge without penalty in the pledge manager.
I see.
Okay, so basically most Kickstarters have a $1 pledge level. Okay, and then they have their base kind of pledge level. So for example, in Mythic Battles, one of the big three, it's $99. Okay, and for $99 you're getting 100 miniatures.
Over 100 now.
Okay,
because they have been busting more stretch goals.
So, say you wanted to go in and you wanted to get a lot of Mythic Battles, but you also fancied getting some Shadows of Brimstone or some Kingdom Death Monster on the 1.5. Okay, what Ben was saying is, depending on whether the Kickstarter creators will allow it, you could go in at the $1 pledge level. And basically, Ben, it gives you a good idea. You can get in behind the scenes. You can see whether you like the project. It means that you're in there at least.
And you can get into the comments and stuff.
And then, if the creators will allow it, you could then up your pledge whenever they release their pledge manager a couple of months down the line.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're going in at that $1 and then you go in later. They may not allow it at the $1 level. Okay, which means, you go up maybe a bit more. So on the Mythic Battles, you go in at that $99 level. Okay.
Honestly, I think that's one of the best things you can do.
Now, if you do that, you go in at the base pledge on the 1 or the 2 or the 3.
Yeah.
And again, if the creators will allow it, then later you can add extra to the ones that you need to add extra to, and hopefully still get in on those great deals that were there in the first place for the Kickstarters. Because these are three biggies, all three by companies that have delivered. Okay, they've had their issues where they've been delays. Like Monster was heavily delayed, but the end result was mind blowing. Conan was delayed. Again, the end result was flipping mind-blowing. The amount of miniatures that the Kickstarter backers got. And Shadows of Brimstone, this is like, they must be their third or fourth Kickstarter now. So those guys at Flying Frog, they know what's going on. So Red Ben says, I'm pretty sure on Kingdom Death and Mythic Battles, I'm pretty sure Adam allowed people to add stuff in the Pledge Manager the last time it came out. And that should be the case with Mythic Battles too. So you kind of figure out what you can afford now, split it between each of the Kickstarters that you want, and then you can make up the difference. It should also
be pointed out a little bit because some of these Kickstarters will run pledge managers, they'll also potentially run late pledges as well. So if you miss out on the Kickstarter now, if they are going to do a pledge manager, there'll probably be an opportunity for you to join in later down the line. So, for example, with the Mythic Battles one, the pledge manager might sort of open around sort of February next year. So if you don't have the money now, you might be able to get in on it later and sort of involve yourself in the project that way and still get your hands on really cool stuff and all bits and pieces and things.
I'd be tempted to get in now, though, at some kind of a base level, just to make sure that you're there. You're on the system. Do you know what I mean? Rather than coming in.
You're in the queue to actually get gear.
It's just that the best deals are going to be there for the Kickstarter backers.
The other thing is, if you're jumping in at the base level now on those Kickstarters, you're helping to actually get the project funded. Now, these ones, they're the big ones, and they are definitely funded. They are definitely busting stretch goals. But maybe on some of the other ones, if you're looking at it and saying, I want to jump in on that, but if I jump in at that lower level and it doesn't fund because too many of us do that, that's a risk with this.
I know I'm being a bit selfish here. I'm trying to give the insider's guide to what you do when Kickstarter goes to war, and you want to try and get in on the action across all of it. Board Game Geek, there was a guy in Board Game Geek that had an idea.
So I was sort of looking a little bit into researching this and stuff like that, and so there's a guy called Locus Vile on Board Game Geek who is saying there are plenty of Kickstarters actually actively promote that $1 pledge level, giving you access to the pledge manager, and also it allows you to get involved in comments and things like that as well. There was also Metres dos Magos on Board Game Geek 2 who was saying that Cool Mini are not used to do this, but recently they've started to put it at a bit more of a minimum level. So as we were saying here, a lot of Kickstarters will allow you to get in there on the $1 level, but some of them will now say maybe you pledge $30 for like a smaller pledge or something like that. And that just means that you're able to participate in the Kickstarter, you're adding a little bit more to the experience as well. And when it comes to the pledge manager later down the line, you just have to increase it by maybe another $20, something like that, to then get your hands on some more stuff and things. Yeah. So yeah, it just really does depend on the companies that you're working with. It's always a good idea to maybe pledge at that sort of $1 limit or whatever. Get into the comments and ask the Kickstarter creators what their sort of stance on all this is, and then you can work it out from there if you wanted to as well. So yeah.
It's a little bit of a hack, but you know, there are times, you know, when we discuss these 3 Kickstarters, you'll understand why. You know, there are times when there's a buffet on, okay? And we want to find out how we can take some of it as a packed lunch. Right, on to the buffet. Let's talk about the big 3. There were other Kickstarters. I'd heard on the grapevine that there were other really big Kickstarters.
Have they decided to go
that have now been pulled because of the strength of the big 3 that are on there at the moment.
No, that's a wise choice. Why compete whenever you can go at a different time?
Yeah, there was just some of them were humming and hawing about do we go now, and then when it became clear the 3 that were going to go there, they could compete, but all they would be doing would be cutting the pie lower, more and more. So it'll be interesting in the new year to see what launches once they've got a lot of this over with them. Yeah. Right, we haven't talked about this one before, but this one is fabulous. It is, of course, Shadows of Brimstone, Forbidden Fortress. Ben, I'm thinking Big Trouble in Little China. It's just driving me nuts.
Yeah, this pretty much does go down that route. You've got all the crazy monsters and all the strange stuff from Japanese mythology and Chinese and everything like that. But yeah, this is by Flying Frog Productions, who everyone will know. They've done Shadows of Brimstone for a while, as we said. They've done a lot of different projects, and the game has grown and grown and grown. One of the big things, one of their interesting selling points is that they always put a CD soundtrack with your game, which is very, very cool. And I always enjoy that. But yes, this one, Forbidden Fortress, takes you out there into the Far East, and you'll be playing as samurais, assassins, monks, and sorcerers. It's a 1 to 4 player game, so it can be played by yourself. Fully cooperative as well. And it's sort of like a dungeon crawly style adventure game, but in sort of their way of doing it. So it's a little bit like a cross between maybe a Mansions of Madness and a dungeon crawler that you might have played before, like Dungeon Saga or something like that.
It has a built-in campaign system too.
Yeah, it does. So you've got a full campaign system that you're running through. It plays a little bit like you might imagine Warhammer Quest did back in the day, where you'll go out and you'll do missions and you'll take on quests and you'll defeat bosses and things. And then during your downtime, you can go and visit a feudal Japanese village and stock up on supplies and buy new weapons. And then you head back out into the wilderness to try and fight new monsters and, take down new bosses and things like that as well.
Yeah. One of the things that really appealed to me in this Kickstarter is that all the tiles, if you scroll down, hopefully we'll get to them, the tiles are double-sided, Ben.
Yeah. So one of the big things about this one was that they were going to go down the route of having both the Earth side, which is where you'll be doing most of your questing, but then your heroes can go through portals into what's called the belly of the beast and the other world, where you'll be fighting on sort of strange alien landscapes against more crazy monsters and bosses and things like that. But the rewards are obviously greater if you go and head out into these alien worlds as well. So yeah, it's got loads of really good stuff going on in this one. Yeah.
I would imagine, is it compatible with the previous Shadows of Brimstone game? Like, they all kind of stand on their own, don't they? They're not expansions, they are standalone games as well.
Yeah, they're all standalone games, but I reckon you could you use heroes and things like that from all the different ones together and things, if you want to do some kind of like crazy time traveling nonsense and whatever you wanted to. But it's a good little package, this one. They've got some really interesting things going on in terms of the deals and stuff you've got. So there's some there's like the base pledge, which comes with loads and loads of miniatures and loads of extra bits and pieces. You also get some exclusive classes in there, like there's the sumo wrestler and the daimyo. I really like the idea of playing a sumo wrestler who's going out there and adventuring. I think that's very, very cool. Eating all the food in sort of old school gauntlet style or something like that, maybe. And then there's also a proper full-on deluxe expansion as well, which has been added to the campaign, which is called the Temple of Shadow. And this introduces 4 new heroes as well. So you've got a soldier, a kitsune, a geisha, and an enforcer as well. It should be pointed out, actually, one of the big things about the game in terms of replay ability is that while obviously the campaigns and the quests you'll do might be quite similar, the way that the heroes work and how you upgrade them is vast, and there are loads of different skills and different options you can go for with your characters, choosing different weapons, choosing different upgrades and things like that as well. So there's loads of sort of impetus to go back in and play it again with new heroes, maybe even the same heroes, and then choose different loadouts and stuff too in there as well. So
there's some,
and importantly, it's solo play as well. So if you someone who doesn't get to get together with a big group very often, you can play through this yourself as well, which is very, very cool and very, very good for games at this point in time. So,
I'm a big fan of the solo play because it also gives you the chance to learn the game before you go to your gaming group. And you get to learn it in a more interactive way rather than just sitting leafing through a rule book. Some amazing stretch goals for that one, and of course it comes with a CD soundtrack. That's nearly reason to back enough. So Shadows of Brimstone, Forbidden Fortress, beautiful, and loads of opportunities for interesting paint schemes, because with having that whole oriental aspect to it, your options for color and stuff is just mind-blowing. Right, next up we have Mythic Battles. Now, we've talked a fair bit about Mythic Battles, so this is more just a recap of where we're at. We're at basically now the 1.5 million mark here.
Damn near it.
If you bring it up, the amount of stuff you're getting in the box now is unreal. Ben, this one has just exploded.
It really has done, yeah. As we were saying earlier, and Justin was mentioning, there's now over maybe 100 plus miniatures you get in the box, and all sorts of fantastic monsters, heroes, troopers, all sorts of different things. Quite recently, one of the big things that they've been doing was they were looking at adding a creature called the Echidna, which is like this strange snake lady. And one of the other things as well is that they realized that drafting at this level of miniatures is going to be pretty hard if you're going to try and put them all out on the table. So they've created these things called recruitment cards. So now every single unit in the game, be it a god, a monster, or a troop, or a hero, will come with a little recruitment card. So you can sit there with your friends, at maybe at the pub or whatever beforehand, and go through the characters and stuff that you want, and then you can go grab them out of the box and play with them later as well, which is a really cool little added extra to things.
Yeah, that is fabulous. This game has just been so well thought out. We've loved playing it. If you haven't seen it, check out our demo game of it. It is a mind-blowing game, and I think that it's one that it will go down a storm among gaming groups. That drafting mechanic, I keep coming back to it, but that ability for us to draft beforehand means that there is no... It turns the whole army list and the whole meta thing on its head, because your meta is part of the actual game coming up with the meta as you see what you've got left.
If I'm sitting down against you and I know you always take Cerberus, and Cerberus is key to your tactics, I can grab
You're
Cerberus.
just going to grab him. Yeah,
absolutely. And that'll make you think and play differently. So you're never going to play the same game all the time.
Some of the other cool stuff for this as well is that obviously these guys have been working with the people behind Conan as well. So they've created a expansion called Corinthia, which brings in a lot of their heroes as characters that you could use alongside Conan and his buddies and things as well. It's very, very cool. It comes with a flying ape, which I think everybody will enjoy. And one of the other big things that they were actually doing this week, and I think it still might be ongoing, is they were doing a whole bunch of stuff to do with the expansions. And so rather than, they really wanted to get behind the whole sort of Black Friday thing. And so what they were doing is they were creating deals to do with the expansion, so you could try and collect them all together for a less price and stuff like that as well. So loads of really good stuff going on in here. Importantly, it should be pointed out that Jake Thornton is working on all the comments and stuff in the background, and people have loved his sort of witty remarks and things like that as well. So if you want to have one of those experiences with a Kickstarter, which is actually quite fun as well, you can go and join in and have a good conversation with him, and it's really good. So,
there's a really nice community feel to the whole thing. The expansions have been brilliant. Poseidon. Can we go back to it? Because I just want to point out something in the Poseidon expansion. There's Scylla. Look at that bottom model there of Scylla with all of her tentacles. I am so excited about that particular expansion, and I'm really excited about the possibilities of the crossover with Conan as well. Because if you bought Conan, with this, you get to do even more with the Conan game that you've already got in on. It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, one of the things I think they've done that's really clever in this, though, is you have your core set and all of your stretch goals that you're getting in the Kickstarter, but things like the expansion that you're seeing here, that's an additional that you're going to pick up on top of that.
Yeah.
So if you're jumping in at that lower level, it's making it more accessible to you, and then after a while, whenever you hit that pledge manager, you can look and go, oh, I really want that Poseidon expansion, and now I have the cash to do it after the event, and actually just go in and grab it then.
That it's right back to that go in low and then go high later thing. And then finally, the other big one that launched on Friday, Kingdom Death Monster 1.5. Oh my god!
This is the one that I missed. I'm going to say that right now. I missed this Kickstarter. I am ashamed that I missed this Kickstarter.
You and so many others have been, or just kicking ourselves that we missed out on this one. Ben, take us through what's going to happen.
Okay, yeah, so this is the big sort of return to Kickstarter from Kingdom Death. This isn't necessarily just a reprint, if that's the way you want to look at it. This is actually almost a new edition. So it's 1.5 of the rules. So it's been tweaked in a few places. There are a couple of updates to the rules here and there. There's also some really cool extra content that's going to be included within the pledges itself. So there's one of the really cool bits to it is called the Philosophy of Death. Yeah. And this involves a sort of optional system that's on the side, which gives you a little bit of character creation when you first set up the game. And this allows you to choose a philosophy that will help the development of your character throughout the story. And it might chart their way in different paths, which is quite interesting indeed, because everybody loves to, put a little bit of extra character into things at the very beginning of stuff. One of the other really cool things as well, as they said, is that survivors now with this Philosophy of Death system will be able to pass on some of their knowledge to the other members of the settlement. So rather than them sort of holding on to all of this knowledge and this power and then dying later on down the line and it being lost, they can actually sort of impart some of their knowledge to the rest of the people there. So, you'll get sort of a bit more of a sort of narrative feel to things as, that old guy sits around the fire and tells you about his stories of when he was out fighting lions and, shoving stones in their behinds or whatever, but yes, some really cool stuff there. One of the other really cool things as well is that there's going to be a big expansion to the game, which is called the First Hero, and this sort of drops you into the campaign between sort of Lantern Years 12 and 20, so quite further on down the line, and you play as experienced survivors who have no real settlement of their own, but they go out and they raid this settlement they think is going to be perfect for them, only to find that it is run by the first hero, the one veteran soul effectively who has existed in this plane of existence for so long that he can now go hunting by himself. And so it's almost like a little bit of a challenge for you, where you have to go and take your sort of armored, beefed up veteran survivors and try and take him on, and also gives you a little bit of a raiding aspect to things as well, which is very, very cool indeed. So
I've got to say, stay tuned, because on Friday we released Lantern Year 2 of the mini campaign that we've been playing with Chris Handley from Darker Days Radio. This is probably the finest storytelling game on the market at the moment. I've been blown away. Like, we played our first game, which we released on Halloween night, and we joked, we laughed, we did all sorts of dodgy things with lions and gauntlets.
Don't forget, Lantern Year 2, you were still being dodgy as hell.
Yeah. But I've got to say, over the next 4 weeks, every Friday, we're going to release another episode as we go through. And I've got to say, I've enjoyed it, joked and laughed through my first game and my second game. But then it hits. Then suddenly you start to understand this game, and your mind just pops with the possibilities of this game. There is no doubt about it. This game is intimidating when you see the amount of stuff that's in the box, okay? But if you watch our playthroughs, you get the handle. It's all very structured and very, very easy to get into after you've had a turn or two, okay?
Yeah, and you're using the box stage by stage, so it grows as you play.
So mechanics-wise, do not panic. Watch our playthroughs and you'll get the basic mechanics. It is very straightforward. However, what will happen after you've got a couple of games under your belt is suddenly the story hits you. And I mean, boy, does it hit you. Your passion for this settlement that you've created, your love for this, it's strange in its intensity, I've got to say, because you normally in a war game, you're throwing units in to sacrifice them and stuff like that. There, we used to joke in our 40k coverage that if you wanted to become a true winner in 40k, every time a guy died, you had to name him and write a letter to his mom.
This game makes you actually want to write that letter.
This game makes you want to write that letter. This game makes you want to, just for that never to happen, because you grow so. It's just every detail. Your character's age. So your characters have lifespans during which that they're able to do it. Yeah, some of your characters age faster than others because they're powerful. They have these magic souls. You procreate in the game, so you've got little ones being born, and then you're trying to protect these little ones, and to the point that they go out for their first missions, and you're trying to keep them safe. And it's so powerful. It's just so powerful. I've been taken by surprise by this game. I was, whenever it came out, I thought it looks like a dungeon crawler to me. It looks like a dungeon crawler with beautifully concepted minis. We then played it, and I thought, well, this is like no dungeon crawler I've ever played. This is in many ways much more interesting. This feels like a hunt. And your first game will feel like going on a hunt.
Yeah.
And then you get into crafting the settlement. And then you realize, this game is like SimCity on the tabletop on steroids.
Yeah.
It's all about crafting and protecting that settlement.
There is one thing you have missed, which I think draws you in more than anything else. It's the organic growth of your characters. As they come back, you feel that they've aged. You feel that they've gained the experience.
You do.
As you gain those new abilities, you actually feel, this is how it would play out in real life.
Yeah, I've got to say, the game is wonderful. Wonderful beyond what you think. It's a game that I think has to be on the bucket list. It's one of those games that you have to try once in your life. Or in my case, you have to try 3 or 4 times. You have to get 3 or 4 games in, and it just explodes with possibilities. So it's another one, if you and your gaming buddies... it's not a game that you necessarily everybody needs a copy, because it is cooperative and stuff like that. If you and a few mates get together, this is one to try and get in and get as many of the additions and things like that as you can, because you will literally spend hundreds of hours playing this.
The other thing is you can run multiple sessions at the same time, and you can play one player in this as well.
Yeah, it's solo as well. Yeah, Ben?
I will say, actually, with the campaign that they're running here as well, one of the really neat little things that they've been doing, sort of like maybe harking back a little bit to sort of the role-playing past behind this, is there's a thing called the Gambler's Chest. And this will be that during certain points in the campaign, they're going to roll a D20. And this will unlock random rewards from their grid. So,
it's a D100.
Is it D100?
Yeah,
a D100, sorry,
yeah.
Sorry,
so they're going to unlock rewards at random as well.
Yeah. So this dice will unlock rewards at random, and that could be something crazy, could be something really small, could be something really big, whatever. So it's going to be fun seeing how this all comes together, I think. So
Okie dokie.
That's going to be interesting. It's one thing I'm noticing with more and more Kickstarters these days. A lot of them are becoming so much more openly engaged with their communities as they go.
It's entertainment.
Exactly. Look at Mythic Battles.
Yeah.
Leonidas is jumping onto live streams, playing through games, giving people sneak peeks.
Yeah.
This is going to be the same kind of thing, I would say.
I have no doubt. This is the thing, like the money that you're investing in some of these Kickstarters, okay? Yeah, we're thinking about all the rewards at the end. But I tell you what, you can't put a price on a month's worth of entertainment, and that is effectively what you're getting as well. You're getting a month's worth of entertainment just for the conception of the game, and then you have hundreds of hours of play coming in afterwards. This is, as I've said, the biggest weekend on Kickstarter that I can remember. It's huge. So go and check them out, see what you think, and if you have any tips on how to best manage your Kickstarter pledges and things like that, make sure and get them in the comments below. I think it's time to get Lance back in.
Yep.
Because I think it's time to talk a little bit Hobbyween. Let's see how the Hobbyween went. Guys, we'll be right back after we tell you about some hubs.
Flames of War brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to the hub on beastsofwar.com to find news, tactics, and tutorials about the game. From Viking halls to the cities of the future, terrain buffs will love our foreground hub. Watch gaming tables of all genres come to life at beastsofwar.com.
And welcome back, Lance.
Thank you, Warren.
Okay,
we're back.
We did a challenge, community challenge. Big shout out to Mage on the site who came up with the idea and helped manage the whole thing. You're a star mage. Called Hobbyween. This is going to be an annual thing for us now. But like, we really, really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
We had 4 categories.
Mm-hmm.
Murdering miniature, which was kind of a best painted miniature.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything kind of creepy or Halloweeny. Terrifying terrain, which was you make a kind of a creepy Halloweeny piece of terrain. Killer kit bash, so going and digging into your bits box and creating some kind of a Halloweeny character. And then we had pumpkin carving.
Yes.
And we 3 Egypts had the best time
You know what?
making pumpkins.
I still have blister wounds from the turnip.
You had a Dremel!
We did offer you a power tool to stick into that.
Yeah,
turnip.
and it was
Power
terrible. I instead just used the spoon because it was just handier.
Well, I've got to say, I don't know if I've said it before, but Justin's little butternut squash
Went down a star. People loved it.
Came home with me, and my kids absolutely adored it. I mean, it was the highlight of their Halloween, much to my disappointment and gnashing of teeth. After all the work I'd put into Halloween and all the cool Halloween stuff and everything, when I sat down and cuddling with them and said, well, what was your favourite bit of Halloween? Every little finger in the house pointed up at Willie the butternut squash and said, him! We really loved him with his little cute little face.
Well,
and everything.
if anything, it's an easier Halloween next year for you.
No. We will see. We will see. Right.
Its name was Squishy.
Oh, Squishy. Well, he became Willy by the time I got him home. Willy the butternut squash. Right, guys. We're going to announce some winners and have a quick tour through some of the highlights of Hobbyween.
Yes.
So,
and we've had
Lance,
some spectacular entries.
take us through it, mate.
Okay. First up, for Murdering Miniature, the winner is whatever this name was, the Autumnal Flower
Autumnal
Night.
Flower Night. It's a Kingdom Death mini.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by Dr.
And
Ether,
Dr.
by Chris,
Ether.
who was in a few
Look at
weeks
it.
ago.
I love the little pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where that came from.
I think that was an extra little bit. I think I actually have his project open here.
Yeah.
So let me open up. Yeah, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So scrolling down.
Just look at it.
That's all there is of it.
Yeah. Absolutely
Beautiful
beautiful.
piece.
Yeah. Okay, congratulations, Dr. Ether. I will say there's going to be golden buttons handed out for all of this stuff, isn't there?
Yep.
So it's okay. So keep an eye out for your golden buttons, and we'll get a thing in to re-roll about it as well.
Yeah. Second
Okay.
up, we have Terrifying Terrain.
Mm-hmm.
This is fantastic. This is a 3D sculpture
Look at this
by Harry Gold. What I
Very
love
nice.
particularly
Now, Harry
about this-
Gold, okay?
Yes, Harry Gold.
Harry Gold is a master 3D printer guy.
Yeah.
Okay. This has
it-
been 3D sculpted and
Yeah,
printed.
I've been reading about Harry Gold, and he's worked at 3DS. He's worked on software 3ds Max for over 20 years, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
What I love particularly about this 3D crypt is I think there's a little Beast of War reference at
Is
the
it?
top
There
of
is.
it. Yeah.
At the top of the
It's our
arch, there is
logo.
the shield that we have.
Oh
That's
yeah.
our emblem. So yeah.
No,
Just
scroll
the-
down.
No, scroll down.
Scroll down.
Scroll down.
There it is.
Oh,
There, at the
there
top.
it is. It's got the horns and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, it looks better than the Beast of War logo. I think we should adopt that. It's
cool.
a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a fantastic piece
And-
of terrain. So he's going through all the steps.
All the
oh
steps,
my god, he
everything.
made the plinth as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did that plinth print out in one project?
It looks like one
It
piece.
totally did too.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a single piece. Scroll up.
Yeah, because there it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
in the 3D designer. So that's his print bed, and that's the component. That's cool.
Yeah. I love this because in the photograph that he supplied, I'm almost certain, and I don't know, I'll maybe ask him, Harry Gold, did you make the stuff in the background as well? Because
Yes,
the
he
stuff in
did.
the background is
Yeah.
phenomenal too.
If you scroll down till we get to that picture again of it all in
Yeah.
the background.
I think it's in the second page actually, but
Oh, wait.
Just-
Oh, too late.
There it is.
Just look at that.
what he's
Oh,
created
it's
is
so cool.
just beautiful. And I love the
Yeah.
setup here.
Yeah. those
Okay,
are his
enlarge.
buildings.
Yeah, can we enlarge that?
No, because we're in the
Okay.
forums.
But just look at that. It is
Beautiful work.
I have seen a lot of those buildings in the background. He has definitely made those. However, as much as I love the crypt and I love the buildings in the background, I have one question for you, Harry Gold. Are those lights real? Are those lights little LED lights, or did you Photoshop that? Either way, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But if they're real, I want to know where you got those, and if maybe that's something that you've built as well.
I'm looking at these and I'm actually thinking real.
I'm thinking maybe photoshopped. possibly.
See, I don't know, because the lens flares are just slightly different. But I suppose this one here, it's sort of the flash is in the same sort of place, so maybe.
Don't know. Well, we'll
it's
just
flipping fabulous anyway, mate. Yeah. So he has won the terrifying terrain category. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations, Harry Gold.
And,
beautiful work. Next up, Killer Kit Bash.
Killer Kit Bash. We have our own Dead Dave, who won with the Mechanicum Abomination.
The Mechanicum Abomination.
Very
nice.
And we've seen this over the past few months. We've featured it a few times. But Dave, if you have the finished result, the actual painted result, love to see it as well.
Yeah.
It was for Killer Kit Bash. I wanted to see people kit bashing together. But if you have a painted version, I'd love to see how it turned out as well.
Absolutely.
See, I know our buddy Dave. This will probably be sitting on his shelves unpainted, because the amount of unpainted fortward that man has sitting.
Well, to be fair to him, he's been really getting stuck in on the painting stuff recently, because he did an awesome steampunk 1/35th scale tank.
The tank?
I think
the one that I commented on.
Where he steampunked it. Have you found his inspiration? Oh, there it is. It was Gwar. It had to be Gwar. Oh, that is absolutely fab.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dead Dave. Great work there on the Mechanicum Abomination. And then finally, the most important category of all, the one where you went head-to-head with the Beast of War team. Remember, you had him and his beautiful butternut squash to beat. Did they beat us?
They did.
Oh, pants! Okay.
A commission work for his own daughter, his own princess. It is Radagast's beautiful Sandslash and Justin, what do you call the pony?
I think that's Nightmare Moon, but that's maybe.
But I love this.
That's some serious skills there, man. That is some serious skills being able to name that.
Spending time with Alessio and John.
All right, okay.
You get it now?
No,
it's a My Little Pony character.
My Little Pony, yeah.
Okay, right, okay, yep.
But what I love about this is the same method I was trying to use on the turnips.
Yes.
Which was, I'm not actually going to carve it, but I'm going to just cut out layers and see how it turns out. The Sandslash came out amazing.
Oh, and there she is with it too.
So did the pony as well.
They are actually really pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Okay, right. As good as it is, congratulations, Radagast. Lovely stuff. But next year, I want to see a big bump. We have a whole year to plan now, guys. Okay, let's see if we can lift the Beast of War pumpkins up a notch or two. You know?
Yeah.
All them other websites out there, they need to see just what the Beast of War community can do. Okay, because as good as our stuff was, I saw some seriously shit hot stuff out there, and we want to make sure that next year that all those other websites, like the Kotakus and all these other big guys out there,
they're
referencing our community, and we're not referencing them. So we've got a year's worth of planning to do, and I am going to put my mind together on what me and you can do with a butternut squash together, Justin. It'll be amazing. Okay, we have some honorable mentions.
Yes, we do. First off, we have Abstract Aliens.
Oh, I love this guy.
We saw this happening. This is one of the very first topics that came out, and he finally finished it.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
The actual project.
Yeah.
Wait, did he 3D design this?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I have to tell the story of this. Right.
For it.
Okay.
Abstract Alien has been a member of Beasts of War now for like 1 billion years. Okay.
We've been going 1 billion years.
A metaphorical 1 billion years, Justin. All right. So it's and for the longest time he has had this. Well, I call it a bugbear. Abstract Alien. I'm going to call it a bugbear. He's had this bugbear, right, about aliens always being based on Homo erectus, okay?
Yeah.
And aliens would, well, if you want to call it humanoid, that's fine. You call it humanoid. I like Homo erectus. I think there's a nice ring to that. Anyway, so he doesn't think that this human form thing is the way to go. He says if we're going to see aliens, we may not even recognize it, right?
Yeah.
So for the longest time, he has been working on aliens. He started with the green stuff.
Yeah.
And created aliens that you're just looking at them going, whoa. I think I've put it in a show before that the only way I can describe them is.
Yeah, I remember that.
I need a language just to describe the aliens, right? Okay. He's been working on a codex, I think for 40k for his aliens. Okay,
yeah, I think that's actually in here if I scroll down.
Yeah, he put up using the model he has.
Yeah.
And threw it into a codex using Photoshop or something.
There it is. Yeah. The Paramours. Okay, and it's only called Paramours because it's difficult to spell.
That's it.
Right.
That's the reason.
He's been working on these for ages. Recently, he thought he's got into 3D sculpting, and he started to recreate his recreations as 3D sculpts. And then this one, he actually went and he got it 3D printed. And I gotta say, I've been blown away by this. I just love the aliens. It's just they look like terrifying
creatures. It's nice
creatures.
to have on the shelf and say like, yeah, I made that.
Yeah.
If anyone comes in, they're sort of like, oh, where did you buy this from? Like,
he has worked so hard at this. You know, it is fabulous to see it, and I can't wait to see his completed codices.
Yeah.
So, you can bring up the picture of the marine about to get munched by the.
Do I have a picture?
Come on, Justin.
Aha.
Come on, bring it up. There it is. Now bring up the painted version. Keep going. Surely it'll be at the end of the project, not at the beginning of the project.
I thought I had seen it at the top.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
The last page.
This is it. Nope. Keep going. Last page.
Okay, last page.
I bet you it's not on the last page.
He has some.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got a few pictures up here of the finished piece, and it reminds me of the piece that John did there a few months ago.
Yeah, it does. John did this wonderful kind of Tyranid Trigon. Bursting out of the ground, attacking a Tau stealth suit. That's the very thing. So yeah, abstract alien.
You wanted that frozen moment in time, that moment of, oh crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other honourable mentions?
We do. We have a few more, and I'll just wait until Justin.
Yeah, I've got it here.
This one was from a junior beast.
Oh,
and this was a zombie space marine. So he's. He did a fantastic job. There's only 2 junior beasts this Hobbyween, but maybe hopefully next year we will have
hopefully
that
we'll get more.
Yeah.
But
yeah, fantastic.
That's a lovely job. That's a lovely
cool
job.
Concept.
I really love the big buzzsaw coming out the back. You can imagine on a Chaos Marine. You know, it's like Chaos Marines are badass as it stands, a Chaos Terminator. So imagine something like that just whizzing around, ready to cut an Ultramarine in half, Justin. Zip!
Yeah.
And gone.
All that fancy armor just doesn't hold back an infection, does it?
Okay, what else we got?
We have a carving.
Yes, this was from... this is an old Doctor Who enemy. Ben,
do we know who that is? Oh, there it is, yeah.
So yeah, this was done by another one of the younger beasts, the Doctor Who Wargamer, and this was the Sea Devil design that he's done based on something from a really old Doctor Who episode. So yeah, he wanted to show off a little bit of Doctor Who Whovian-ness, I guess, with his carving, and it looks really cool because he's gone with the same kind of thing that we've been looking at with Lance's stuff and the stuff by Radagast as well, where they've tried to take out the layers to show the different glowings and the glow effects and stuff. Yeah,
awesome stuff,
really nice.
Doctor Who Gamer. Well done. Any more?
Yes, I think we've got one more.
One more. Yeah.
This is the Specimen 18, which was a very first favorite of ours.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Right, Justin. This is
almost like creating your own.
This is
monster,
my favorite.
Really.
This is basically a scene out of my favorite ever zombie movie. Okay, well, I say my favorite, probably one of my favorites, because it's hard to pick a favorite because there's so many good ones.
Yeah, this is the one I got confused with.
Yeah, this is the one where they fall off the back of the lorry.
Yeah,
and it's basically you look in and you can kind of see the zombie through the glass going like that. The other cool thing to this is. With the 18, I wonder, is that a reference to Hangar 18?
Perhaps.
Hangar 18? Clearly you didn't listen to your Megadeth in your younger days, did you?
No. It's only since...
Last week Iron Maiden, this week Megadeth. Slap in the head, I think, coming up. Right. Megadeth, okay? They sang about Hangar 18. Hangar 18... is where the bodies from the Roswell incident were taken.
Okay.
Okay? So Hangar 18 was, after the whole Roswell UFO crashed, okay, and they picked up the bodies of the aliens, okay.
Which you're sure they were there?
The aliens were then taken and stored in Hangar 18, unless I'm seriously mistaken. And I can always I'm going to put in a caveat. I might be seriously mistaken. Hopefully, I'm not.
Citation needed.
Yeah, citation needed. But that's where they stored the bodies.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there's a cool reference to Hangar 18 in there. Are we done?
We are
Hobbyween?
finished. Thank you, everyone, for their entries.
Watch out for your Golden Button Awards, guys. Absolutely fabulous. Let's get our thinking caps on for next year. Okay, we have... What have we got? We have some news that we're going to cover. So, Lance, we're going to take a swish and let you go and take a swish.
In a world controlled by massive corporations, a steady aim and split-second decisions are needed for your megacon to complete its goals. Begin your missions at the Mercs Hub on beastsofwar.com. Become a general of mighty armies at the Kings of War Hub. Take command of elves, dwarves, and orcs in this game of masked fantasy combat on beastsofwar.com.
And welcome back. Handsome Lance is gone again.
Right.
Guys, well, I want to finish out the show with a few little bits and pieces of news. What have we got?
Okay, so the first piece of news is something that everybody will be very, very excited about, and that is we actually have a date for the return of Time Commanders. It is back on December the 12th on BBC 4. There is no real time for it set yet, but it is coming back, and it is hosted by the buttery biscuit base himself, Greg Wallace, which is very, very cool indeed.
Okay, I did see, I was laughing my ass off at some of the comments where they're saying, could it not have been Mel and Sue? Mel and Sue have recently been made redundant because the Bake Off, the Great British Bake Off Challenge has now moved to Channel 4. Mel and Sue decided to stay with the BBC, so it's a pity. I think Mel and Sue would have been great. I think that they would have brought their own unique touch.
I think it would be very fun. Yeah.
Well, you see, I was having a watch of the trailer of this, and it looks as if it's going to be more than just people coming in playing the game. It looks as if they're going to be testing some of the old school weapons and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because the format. Let's be honest. The format needs a little bit of updating.
A lift, yeah.
And TV has changed, so yeah, it'll be interesting. The only way I think it could have been better is if you'd got Clarkson, Hammond, and May in to do it. And if they had done it, I think it would have been absolutely mad.
Richard Hammond actually hosted one of the old series of the show. So if you want to go and watch him, annoying all the contestants and stuff, you can find it on YouTube and things like that as well. So, but yeah, the first episode for this, actually, as the trailer shows off a lot of Napoleonic stuff, so that's going to be later down the line, obviously, with the other episodes.
Good.
The first episode is Roman, so it's going to be Hannibal versus Scipio, so Carthage versus Rome, and it's going to be very interesting. And importantly, that means they're going to be looking at all the different games within the Total War library, so maybe we'll have a little bit of medieval in there too, as well, which would be quite fun. But yeah, we'll see. So
I wonder, will they bring Warhammer?
Maybe not.
But
that would be very fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
If it's in that license group.
It would be fun. Well, we'll see. Also, I'd mentioned it at the start of the show, but Battle Foam have brought out Blood Bowl bags. You can still pick them up, actually, in the Black Friday sale. This is it, the Fantasy Football bag, designed to hold all of the individual models, but more importantly, designed to fit your actual board as well, and all the cards, so that they're all nicely managed and laid out.
Yeah.
So lovely looking stuff there.
Definitely one to look out for.
We have some new releases from Dark Age as well.
Yeah, so November obviously is another month full of Dark Age wonderfulness, and once again it was focused towards the Dragiri as well. So we had some really interesting things here showing up, including the very, very cool and humongous Shadow Elemental for the Shadow cast, which is very nice indeed. There was also the Death's Device of Shadow, which is sort of a big, huge, hulking Dragiri with sword and shield at the ready. One of my favourite models of the group was actually the Greater Ice Elemental, which I thought was really good to see, that it wasn't just going to be a huge mound of stone, effectively, or a mound of ice in this case. It was nice to see it being
even
an actual
for your
creature.
D&D games, that would be a nice model to purchase, even just for your role-playing games.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had some of the sort of the smaller scale characters as well. So we had Cyclone and Whisper, which are from the air cast of the Jagiri. Really interestingly, with their fluff and their background, they are the only adepts within their cast. These females, and no male has ever, got close to their skill level in terms of combat, which is very cool. Nice bit of sort of background there. And then there's also the slaves as well, which are sort of dragged up from the dregs of society by the Jagiri, and they used to sort of fling around their sort of shards of crystal onto the battlefield and things as well. So yeah, some amazing stuff, and I actually quite like the fact that even their sort of basic troop infantry is looking so much cooler now, and just the sculpting is amazing for these guys.
Yeah,
so,
it's just such a gorgeous range. It really is.
I will say, if you want to see some of the Shadowcast stuff on the tabletop, we actually did use them recently in our Dawn of the Dark Age series. So myself and Brian from Cool Mini are not actually set up again. We had the Shadowcast on one side, and I think I had the Outcast on the other.
Yeah.
We were actually showing off some of the mechanics. The funny thing is that death device is actually smaller than the rest of the Dragiri casts.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. They're the more sort of stealthy side of the faction. So the Shadowcast, they're sort of the Black Ops guys. This is really cool.
Oh, very cool.
And then those Sling Slaves actually used to be the master race of the Dragiri until the fall.
Right.
And now that the world has essentially went to hell and is now rising back up out of the ashes, the masters have become the slaves have become the masters.
Very cool. Yeah.
As it does. As it does.
But no,
Right.
very, very cool.
Final piece of news.
Yes.
Caught me totally by surprise. My head is still spinning as to what the hell is going on in the world. But our good buddies over at Fireforge Games, absolutely renowned. We talked about them either last week or the week before.
Yep.
We talked about that beautiful box
Two-player
set.
starter set, yeah.
Two-player starter set, with all the knights and stuff. Lloyd was saying to me last night, I was telling him we were going to be talking about it. He's going, that's my favorite set that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He says, I was talking recently, I just want boxes of knights. And there it is. And then, they may have been planning it for a while, but for me, it was completely left of field. They came out with the Pegasus Knights. What is going on? They are beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a range of 4 plastic knights that come with 4 resin Pegasus as well, or Pegasi. There might be a plural to it, but anyway, their idea is that they're going to be starting to create a few bits and pieces here and there to bolster the 9th Age rule set. And so this was a rule set that was set up by a whole bunch of community people who weren't too happy with Age of Sigmar. So they decided to take Warhammer Fantasy to the next level with the 9th Age and a new edition of the game.
Yeah.
And so a lot of companies out there, including Avatars of War and now Fireforge Games, are going to be supporting that sort of rule system and creating models for you to use in it. And as you say, these are their sort of Bretonians, I guess you'd call them, or Albion Knights, as they've been called here, for use on the tabletop in your ranked mass battle games, which is very, very cool indeed.
Awesome.
They are beautiful models. Yeah. Fireforge, you have blown me away with this because I've always been such a fan of your historical models. They've been beautiful, but you have a skill for fantasy, dudes. You really do. All that's left to be worked out. Is that unit a flock or a gaggle?
A flock, I would say.
What do you reckon? A flock or a gaggle?
Flock of Pegasi sound right.
A flock of Pegasi or a gaggle of Pegasi?
A flock of Pegasus.
We'll go for a flock. Yeah, so it's anyway, flock me. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. Guys, that is us. That's your lot for this weekend. Please consider coming over and joining us for backstage the XLBS version of this show tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Sunday on beastsofwar.com. Remember, we're still raising money to upgrade and add a whole new raft of cameras, 4K cameras, so we can get even extra resolution and stuff like that in our painting tutorials. So if you could help with that, that would be amazing. The way to help is to join Backstage, and if you join as an annual member, you're kind of like one of our centurions. We're trying to get the centurions in there because it's a big step for us, and we want to be able to get 2 studios simultaneously on the go, and this new studio, we want it to be 4K capable, which gives us extra resolution for whenever we're filming things like painting tutorials and hobby guides and stuff like that. It gives us more resolution to get you in even closer to the action. So if you'd consider that, that would be amazing. And if you wanted, you could gift a Backstage pass or donate a Backstage pass, because sometimes we have members who hit hard times. We know what happens. we know the way the economy's headed, it's going to probably continue happening. So we have a little pool of donated backstage passes, and then if we see community members in trouble or just youngsters who maybe just don't have the means to be able to buy a backstage pass, what we'll do is we'll reach out to them and gift them one that's been gifted from you. So we'll hopefully show some little screenshots and stuff on how you do each of those things, and if you can help, it's amazingly appreciated by us. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I will see you tomorrow morning, and hopefully I'll see as many of you guys as is possible tomorrow morning for the backstage show, where I'm going to do my very best, as I do every Sunday, to try and melt his mind. And I've got a really cool natural conspiracy for you for tomorrow.
You tried last week.
Yeah, I'll get him.
Venture into the dangerous dungeons of myth as a mighty hero and stand against the darkness. Visit the Myth Hub on beastsofwar.com and begin your story. It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com.
And just when you thought you got rid of us...
Yeah, we forgot something.
Yeah.
Whoopsies.
Well, before we go, I did say that whenever we were talking about the Kickstarters, that we had a fourth one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our kind of little Easter egg, and there is a fourth one. Ben, what was the fourth Kickstarter we were going to tell them about?
Okay, so the fourth one is called The Roots of Magic, and it's Students of Sorcery. And now we've seen a lot of games out there which have, big, huge warriors and massive monsters and things like that. But this one's all about the wizards and casting spells and things like that. And so this one's done by Grand Arcanum Games, and it's a really interesting world that they've created here, which has got loads of different houses of magic that all draw on different sort of tendrils of power. So you've got people like the Orders of Malako, who are like witch and demon hunters, the Diabolists, who are blood mages, so they use their own life force to cast magic and things like that. And the whole idea is that this game's like a little skirmish thing where you have a couple of wizards each side, maybe between 5 and 8 models on it or whatever, blasting it out with magic, fighting over objectives and secret texts and things on the tabletop. It's all designed to be played in sort of around 30 or 40 minutes. So when it comes to actual tabletop games, this one's actually pretty good. Miniatures wise, they've been working on with a couple of companies that everybody will know. So there's Zealot and Hysterical Games, and all the models are going to be out in resin. So yeah, we've got 8 mages to begin with, but things are starting to tick along now, and they're starting to unlock a lot more bits and pieces here and there for this one. So if you're interested in magic as sort of an interesting aspect of the tabletop, they've got some really good things going on here. There's a couple of really good gameplay videos up where they show off how it all works in terms of activation and the way that spells are put together and things as well. But yeah, really nice little one, and I just love the idea of wizards duking it out rather than warriors and stuff on the tabletop. Really good one.
It has that feel from Lord of the Rings. Do you know where Gandalf and the others are battling it out with the orcs and they turn it in on themselves? The other thing it kind of reminds me of is probably my favorite computer game of all time, which was Chaos. The original Chaos on the ZX Spectrum.
Oh, hang on. This is the one you loaded up in the office one day. Each of us got to be a different wizard casting different spells. Yeah.
It was a little pixel game, and another game that absolutely inspired me as a child on the whole myth and magic and Dungeons and Dragons thing, because the spells in it were awesome, because you were able to cast like animals, like manticores and things like that, but you're also able to cast things like magic fire, and my personal favorite, gooey blob. And you cast a gooey blob, and if you got the spell off, right, every turn, the gooey blob would spread a random number of squares on the screen. And that is where I got my moniker Warzan from.
Really?
Yep, was from playing that game was where I got my little handle that I've kept with me all through my gaming life, and I was Warzan the Wizard.
See, that's
and this feels like that to me. Is in terms of the spell casting itself, Ben, now, do we know anything about the variety of spells or how spells are incanted?
I think the spells are driven by a little bit of a card mechanic and things in there based in that. But the actual depth of magic that you can draw from is very much dependent on the type of sort of faction you go with. So as we were saying before, if you go down like maybe the route of Ace Acadia, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
All of their spells are to do with illusion and suggestion and things like that. So yeah, there's lots and lots of depth in here for, casting the right kind of spells and, trying weird and wonderful combinations and maybe teaming up with other sides and, casting spells that work, well with each other and stuff. So yeah, lots of interesting little tidbits to get stuck into with this one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, guys. Our little Easter egg Kickstarter for you. The Roots of Magic, Students of Sorcery, about 20 days left. Maybe this is a great little one to have on your shelf for you and your buddies to play some Mage Wars with. Yeah. All right, we're truly away this time. Again, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow over at beastsofwar.com. See ya.